Never am.
Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning. There's the fuck up. I was waiting for that to happen. I actually just timed that one, just to make sure I didn't show up on screen directly. Good morning, everybody. It is a bittersweet day. We have some extreme wonderfuls, and we have some extreme negatives, but we're kind of getting used to that, aren't we? In this world of extremes. Extreme weather, right? Highs and lows. We had a nice norm for a long time, and then we got more extremes. Extreme factions of right and left, so it seems, and extreme good and bad things. A lot of extreme good and bad things, and that's exciting. It's exciting. One of the good things right now is that we have Steve Collins here with us in the studio, operating media, sitting next to me, which is both exciting and irritating at the same time. For those of you who know me, it's just one of those things. Thank you so much for being here, Steve.
You're welcome, John.
And I'm gonna, what did I have? I got Steve on camera. There's the Steve cam.
Yeah.
That was if is that for your daughter?
That's for my granddaughter and my grandson, Lindsay and Liam.
There you go. Thank you. Steve is going to operate media. He has nothing to do yet because I haven't asked. We're not even moving. I'm just talking. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Stock Post and Kat and Denise and Springfield and Marka. How are you? Real Jingy, Chemo, Janine, Barbara, Melissa, Kat. Good morning, Brad. How you doing? John Warren, Froze. Oh, there's so many people here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, there's Louise and there's Schultze and Jupiter Judy. How's Florida? How's Florida? I saw some stuff. How is everything down there? You guys, I don't know. Florida. Have you seen the show? I don't know if they run it down there. This zombie house hunting or zombie house. It's about flipping homes in Florida. And it's really interesting because in the past, they didn't really have these kinds of options. There wasn't so many houses that were just abandoned and left decrepit because so many Americans have been left homeless because of the income inequality and just absolute destructive despair that we have in this country. And so we now have shows called Zombie House where people looking to make a profit off somebody else's despair, not that that's, hey, it's capitalism. They come in and they invest some money into the house and they turn it around and for a profit, right? But the houses themselves have been abandoned and not taken care of for so long that they look neat. And so they look like a haunted house or a scary house. So first we get to see the scary house and just how bad it is. And a lot of times, like, the people's stuff is all still in there. It's left there. And I watch it. But it's a sad testament to where we sit today, that our reality TV shows like Hoarders, or this show is like, look at how fucked up the American people are with capitalism, that we can do a show about all what they left behind when they had to go be homeless or die because they didn't have health care. Hey, how's Florida? The houses are really cool. I just say that. The most interesting thing I saw about that, I want to bring this up. The reason I was asking is the water levels are coming up so much that there was a swimming pool in the backyard of this one Florida house. And it was the whole thing, swimming pool, concrete, huge. I mean, this is a pretty big pool. You could swim back and forth laps. The whole thing was lifted up off the ground by about 1.5 feet. And this is because the water level underneath it, the pressure, pushed it up, and there wasn't enough water in the pool to displace it in terms of weight. That's frightening. When water level can do that to a pool or your house, I don't even know why are people buying homes in Florida anymore? I don't even understand that. I realize it's beautiful, but you're going underwater. You know that, right? We got to get Jupiter and everybody else out of there. We just got Steve out of Florida. You know, really got to do that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And we have Markus here, of course. Good morning, Markus. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, John. Good morning, Steve. And of course, good morning, America. I hope you guys are doing fine and will enjoy the show. And yeah, it's great to have Steve around now so he can help John. And I heard they have a very interesting project in mind already. And they are starting today. I think they are doing garden work today, right, John?
I'm not sure how much garden work we're going to do today. Did garden work yesterday. Steve did an amazing job clearing out a shit ton of weeds in a bed. He's awesome. It's nice having him around. Do some work. Yeah, makes me look bad. It's good. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, John.
No, and actually we were talking earlier about the Hobbit project, the Hobbit Hole project we're going to do. We're going to build a new studio. So that may happen if we can keep this thing all together. But thank you for being here, Markus. Appreciate that. And Dennis, guys, was invited somewhere. He's off having a date, although he's in chat now. But he has to, at some point, Dennis has to go. So everybody wish him luck with his date, and let's hope his date's not watching. Hi, if you are. Have fun with Dennis later on. Anyway, he's a good dancer, from what we understand. Just, if he tells you he's going to wear the suit with the shorts, don't let him. Anyway. Good luck, Dennis. Do they have nukes in Florida? Good morning, John Kime. Nine Tails. A bunch of other people. Good morning, everybody. Do you know John Warren? I hope to God we don't have nuclear weapons in Florida. It's the wrong place to put them. That's a bad idea. Very bad idea. All right, so moving on with stuff. The cover, Mad Magazine. Yeah, we're just getting into stuff. That's pretty bad. That's 10 minutes of just bullshit. The cover is Mad Magazine, and it's very, I love that. It's the Trump's historic crossing of the people, or going over the cliff, or whatever's happening. Really looks bad. I'm not going to talk too much about all the things going on right now, because we really don't need to be focused on Trump. We really don't need to be focused on anything going on in the White House with all of that bullshit. We have more important things to focus on, like the fact that the DNC is attempting yet another reframing of their stupid bullshit, and we've got Chuck Schumer claiming that he's going to a more populist message, and it sounds to me like a whole bunch of hope of change. We've heard this before. We have heard this before. You need to turn off your notifications on your phone. That never happens with my phone when we're live. Never.
Unthinkable.
All right. So, is that his cabinet in the boat? That is. That you guys, that's a great pick. There's a link to Mad Magazine. I don't know which particular illustration it is. I'm sure you could find it. But everybody's in there. Paul Ryan's in there, and Bannon is up top. Melania or Ivanka, whichever one she is in there. Sessions is up front trying to stop things. Spicy is there. He's like, oh, I'll use my stick. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. They're all there. It's.
I hope it sinks.
Yes. Well, it is. Oh, we're sinking. Don't. Trump train has gone off the tracks, and whatever metaphor you want to use, it's not good. We're waiting to see what happens with our representatives and where they fall, right? Which pocket of money are they going to gravitate to? Which teat are they going to suckle off of if they're no longer going to be a part of the Trump teat, right? And you know that there are problems between the love affair that is Ryan and 45 because Trump basically threw the Republicans under the bus, saying it's too bad they won't support their president, who carried some of them. He literally said that he carried some of them over the line to winning because he was himself. And Paul Ryan shot back, was like, that's not our job. So Paul Ryan, who was like the most important ass kisser of the Trump admin, other than Mitch McConnell, Mitch is now just focused on his own agenda. He never really cared about Trump, right? But Paul's mad now. Paul's upset. He's done with this shit. So it's good to see. It's good to see. Where are we at? Action. Oh, okay. We haven't even talked about this yet. See, thank you. Go back to the card, though. Jeff Erdman. No, see, I got to talk about this. Stay there. Thank you. This is awesome. I don't have to click the buttons. Steve's clicking the buttons. Like, normally I'd reach over here and you'd watch me reach over here. I don't have to do that anymore. I just go, click that. Go there. Click over here. It's wonderful. Yeah. It's awesome. This is what it's like. Thank you, Steve. So glad you're here. Eventually we'll get to the show. Jeff Erdman, tomorrow night, We the People, who just picked his song, by the way. I'm not going to tell you what it is till tomorrow. But Jeff Erdman, tomorrow, We the People, 7 p.m. Pacific. Join us. He's running in Minnesota. And it's interesting about this because he's running against an incumbent Republican who won by that much last time. And there's a Democrat who apparently has very similar, if not identical, platform views as Jeff. And she hadn't announced until just recently that she was going to formally announce in fall. So she will be running again. She lost to the current Republican by this much. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I want to talk to Jeff about what does this mean for your chances? What do you think of her? What are your differences between this woman and you? Other than the fact that he's started now and he's already raised at least $30,000, which is pretty good for Jeff. So should be a great conversation. Join us for that. Please share, because the more people that watch We the People, the more people know that this channel is more than a bunch of dick jokes and F-bombs. Thank you. And hey, Springfield, how you doing? Hey, Jupiter. I have a button pusher, and it's not just Jilly Love in chat. By the way, Jill, thank you. My phone won't take a picture of it. It's having a problem, but that's because my phone sucks. But thank you for your donation. I appreciate that. That's even more poignant now with what I have to talk to you about. But before I talk to you about the scary, shitty, crappy stuff, Our Lives on the Line is something we're doing on the 29th. The good news is I believe that we are going to be able to stream the Our Lives on the Line event that Scott Galindez has already committed to streaming. He committed to streaming. Then LiveU said, how about you return that solo? Scott said, shit. And I said, let's try to at least, he said, let me back this up. He said, can we try to at least keep it for that event? And I said, I'm not getting any response from Claudia. There's a good reason. I said, why don't you send an email and beg for use? And so he did. And then I got an email back from Joyce. And I'd forgotten about Joyce. Okay. Joyce was, maybe still is, Claudia's second hand. I think what's happened over time, go figure, Claudia and Joyce, both amazing, badass human beings, have moved up in the LiveU ranks. They're also both busy. And Claudia was just like apparently traveling around the world doing big Claudia things and didn't have time to answer my little irritating emails about, hi, I'm the guy that's been using this shit. Thank you. Can we keep using it? I've lost many of your things. Can you send me more? Literally, that was one of my emails. I keep losing these things. I need another one. And at that point, she was traveling around the world. Anyway, Joyce sends me an email and says, John, Claudia sent me an email that said you're sending her emails. What's going on? and at that point, I realized, where things were. So I sent Joyce some information about what we'd done. And that was with the help of you guys. In the last couple of days, you've really helped me remember where all this thing's been and what all we did with it. And so I just sent her a little update. And I said, here's all the places that the solo's been. Here's events that we've streamed with the solo. Here's one that we streamed just recently that almost got I didn't tell her that. But I said, here's one that we streamed recently. And I said, we'd really like to continue to use the solo. I don't know how we do that. Can we talk about it? We're willing to crowdfund. I'm begging, please. And she shot back, wow, this sounds great. Go ahead and we'll talk on Wednesday about long-term solution. So that's awesome.
Wow.
We may, we may be able to keep it. We may be able to find a way. It's probably going to involve a cost at this point beyond what's already been paid. So I don't know. We'll find out. But that's good news. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. Yeah, Marcus, I'm very happy about that. Because this event coming up on the 29th is big, and I want to do that. And then Bernie just announced that he's doing a speech at the NAACP because 45 declined, thankfully, for everybody at the NAACP. I don't know. I just hit the... Yeah, I don't know why they'd want to have him. Why would you want 45? Just because he's the president? Why would you want a racist president to speak at your NAACP? Anyway. Are we there yet? LiveU talked about... So we talked about the LiveU. Next is the future of the network. So there's some other things going on. There's some good things, which are that Steve Collins is here. And he's making my life a lot easier in a number of ways. And I'm glad he's here, and he's out of toxic Florida, and he's able to get weed, which is really good for Steve. And chemo, I'm getting kind of old to be turning tricks, John, but whatever needs to be done. Really? Let's not prostitute yourself for the channel. What are we talking about? I hope that's not for the... I've missed this. Jupiter Judy, fingers crossed, uphill. They see how much you advertise their name too. I don't know if they do. I hope so. I did try to say that there. We've plastered your logo over everything. It's on everything. You got to realize though, the amount of views that we earn in general is nothing. Like even when I get excited about 8,000 views of a Bernie Sanders stream, which is about what we get these days, 8 to 10 grand. Maybe if it's a great one, we get 15,000 people watching. That's like your average bad Lee Camp video, right? That's sane progressive who just came on for a minute to do a mic test, right? So when I so I just have to put it in perspective. I know they're glad they're getting the advertising, but probably we're just a little pesky nonprofit organization that they're like, well, it would look bad for PR if we didn't talk to them, so let's not be dicks. So I just got to say thank you to LiveU all around for even engaging with us, because we're so small and tiny and insignificant and irritating, even for the amount of PR you get. And I get that. Because you're leading. LiveU is a big-ass corporation kind of leading the edge in technology there. And so thanks. I appreciate that. Joyce and Claudia, Peter from the beginning, who were the people that really, gave us hope and access to this technology at a price we could actually afford, which was the big problem to begin with. So the other big problem, talking about affordability, is that I'm a liability to this, and I don't actually have a job, but when I left California in 2007, I was with wife 2 for just a little while longer, and then we split up. But we left California with a financial disaster, and I am a financial disaster, and when my business exploded and when I crashed personally, I was able to cover all of my debts to people And that's about it. So I took care of the people, the employees. I made sure they got what they needed to get. There's taxes for 2011 that weren't paid. I was upside down on a house in California. I'm massively in debt on college tuition. But that's a whole other group of people that chase after me for money, right? But the IRS is the scary one because they have the potential of I don't know what they have the potential to do, honestly. But I'm telling you this now, and I'm telling it to you publicly, just so that it's out there in the record, all right? That I have to talk to them today and find out what they want to do. They say they want to come take stuff, but I don't own anything. I don't own this house. I don't own a car. I don't own anything at all. And so the only thing that I imagine they could do is come take the equipment in this garage, which I couldn't say anybody else owned unless I sold it to somebody. And I suppose it's worth less than 10 grand altogether right now, because most of it's old, and depreciated. The laptop's the newest piece of gear. That's a year old and it's missing the P key. So the reason I'm saying this isn't to have you all feel bad or just know how stupid I am with money, which I am absolutely fucking stupid with money. Okay. I build things and fix things. Money is just a tool. Anyway, the point being is that this network is right at the point of growing, of becoming more and having money involved. And we've been here before. And when it got to this point before, everybody involved realized that there needed to be a nonprofit organization formed to protect what the network is from me financially. And that's where we're at again. I don't know what I need to do to make sure Lori is protected, first of all, to make sure this stuff can get into the hands of somebody and not the IRS. And just to tell you guys all publicly right now that if I find out that the IRS can take money from Patreon or from the Google account when you guys are donating to Super Chat, I will let you all know to cancel your payments. Because the last thing on fucking earth we want to do is give money to the corrupt federal goddamn government. And I'm in a unique position at this point where I do not have to have a job. I take care of this property and I do volunteer work. And that is how I present myself to the federal government, because I am not interested in having a job simply to pay them back. And to some of you out there, that may seem unfair, that may seem unpatriotic, or what an asshole for not wanting to pay the federal government back. And I completely respect and understand your opinions on that, because I don't like not being a tax-paying citizen. I actually plan on paying my 2016 taxes because it's $113 and I can. And I've always filed. But I don't want to go to work so I can pay the government $11,000 when Exxon is getting my tax money and not paying a dime, right? When I know that the majority of my tax money is going to go to war for oil. So I feel that in the unique position I have right now of not paying taxes, I shouldn't. And to balance that out with my own feelings of guilt, I do volunteer work for the revolution, because that to me is service and should negate tax. So that's all I'm saying. Any of you out there who are in Corvallis who understand what this network is and what we've done or whatever, that's where it's going to need to go. If we're going to continue, if I continue to do work with Lynn County Democrats and the Progressive Democratic Party, all these things and the shows coming up, it's going to need to become real. It's going to need to become an actual entity, and I'm going to need to be separated from that entity so that it's protected and the people involved are protected. I am the most toxic liability to what I have created.
We already talked about this, John, and there was one, I think a stock post said it, that we really should maybe think of becoming a church, and
I know. If some here's
but we would need someone who has the legal experience to
right. I have no problem
advise
with
us.
it's a great idea. Any idea we want to do, I can't be the one that spearheads it. That's the problem. Right? You want to do that? You got the money, time, resources, understanding, knowledge to make it happen. Fantastic, make it happen. I'll sign on the dotted line or not sign on the dotted line or hand over the assets to the church. Right? That's absolutely fine by me. But somebody has to do that work. And that's always been the problem. Right? Somebody has to put together the 501(c) papers. Somebody has to get the lawyers involved. Somebody has to get the banks involved. Somebody has to do all that shit. And that somebody can't be me. Look what I've already done. My track record shows you, not the guy. Want to build something fucking awesome? I can do that. Want to run a business? No. Okay? So, I'm all there. Anyway. A nonprofit. Yes. I am a nonprofit, for fuck's sure.
Really love.
Absolutely, Jilly Love, non-profit in the other definition of profit. Profit like Jesus, not like capitalism. There you go. Like Jesus said it was supposed to be, not like they made it. That's the best. The profit, PROFIT, Jesus. That's hilarious. Moving on. So we talked about LIveU Solo. We talked about the future of this network. And I thank you all so much for being here, by the way. Regardless of what happens, we'll continue to do what we can do until they knock down the door and take Eileen away, which would make me very mad. Anyway, I also thought about what? No, go ahead, Marcus. What?
What would, for example, if not you are the owner, but Ashley?
Fine by me, but you have to understand what that means in terms of financial responsibility. I mean, these are discussions that we shouldn't have online live.
Yeah.
Because, trust me, they involve a hell of a lot more responsibility than we think, and that's why it's a decision you really got to think about. It's tough, you know. It's 2 years ago, Janine, Scott, and I were all in a position to sign to make it happen, and then, right, since then, anyway, we go until we can't. I'm just laying the honesty out there right now so that we all know what the potential is. I'm just showing you this because Greg McKinsey dropped this in, and Greg, you're so nice. I love your enthusiasm about the what this network is and can be in the technology. He said, hey, they don't have anything like what you do. And you're absolutely right. They don't offer that service. This is the Action Network, which is, from what I can tell, it's like Nation Builder, right? And so it's basically a suite of tools to help you grow an organization. It has fundraising abilities and email campaigns, and it's like everything you would need. Salesforce connections, and to reach out, mobilize your base, get contributions, get them involved, send them to protest, everything you ever want to do, right? And Greg was saying, hey, this would be a great thing, why don't you reach out to them and tell them about what you guys have? And I'm like, well, sure. This would also be a great thing for us to use if we were going to try to make something big. The question is, would we want to do that? Who would want to do that? There's a lot of discussion there. I just wanted to point it out because I think this is really cool. And click the next thing. This was built on the Action Network. So this is the Summer for Progress. This is the People's Platform. # People's Platform. And scroll down for it, Steve. This is all the way down the list. Is it going? This is the one with all the groups. Our Revolution, Democratic Socialists of America, Democracy for America, Progressive Democrats of America, All of Us, Common Defense, National Nurses United, and on and on and on and on and on. Brand New Congress, Justice Democrats, Fight for 15. Right? So they're using actionnetwork.org. Just pointing it out. I just thought that was cool. And if you haven't signed that, go sign that right now. That's our coalition. That's our unity that we've been waiting for. It's badass. We have an engine. And we have a DNC that's still trying to do something stupid. Click next. Have you, do we have the, where's the one? Where's the Countable one? Oh, that's the next one. Yeah, Chuck Schumer. I have Countable in there twice. I didn't realize that. If you haven't gone to Countable, go to Countable. Go back to the other one. Thank you. This is so cool. This is Countable. All right. It's countable.us. Yes. Go here. Sign up. Get involved. Go to the other Countable. I want to show them that. Skip one. There. This is one of the bills that they're trying to push right now. It has Democratic support. Should the U.S. oppose politically motivated boycotts of Israel by international organizations? I'm not even sure I understand why the U.S. should make a statement one way or the other. Why is it any of our fucking business? Somebody wants to oppose Israel for whatever goddamn reason, go right ahead. Why should we? So this is interesting. There's a lot of people talking about this right now. And the reason I want you to go to Countable is because I want you to read and understand what is happening here. Read other people's comments. It's unfortunate that there is such misinformation. Countable is a fantastic site for you to voice an opinion, to send that opinion directly to your reps. I voted nay on this, and then I added my opinion, and it sent this to Merkley and DeFazio, or my local rep and my state rep. It did all that for me. But what's interesting about this, how many of you have heard about this? Steve, you heard about this?
Not yet.
Marcus, you heard about this?
I heard about it, yeah.
Okay. It has nothing to do with you and I protesting. So let's clarify that. Everybody who thinks this is about us being able to go on the street and protest against Israel, that's not. Okay. We can still do that all day. We can boycott Israel's products too. Right? You and I can tell the president or whoever we want, I will not buy Israeli products. Fuck you. And we won't get thrown in jail for it. That's not what this does. What this does, or what this would do if it passed, would be to penalize organizations, groups, for pushing boycotts, politically motivated boycotts within their organizations. All right? Big fines, big, huge things. And that is not the same as stopping people from doing it, but it's the slippery slope on the way to it. It's unconstitutional either way. Why should we be taking a position on that as a nation? Why should we make it illegal for an organization to do so? So it's a little more tricky than it seems. What, Marcus?
It is very much more tricky because what you said that one of their demands is not to buy Jewish or Israeli products. You know, in Germany in the 30s during the Nazi regime, it was clear that nobody has to. It was a slogan: "Kauft nicht beim Juden," don't buy Jewish. So I would be very, very careful with those slogans, and it gives me a very, very uneasy feeling, you know. And what behind is it might be right, but we should refer to the Israeli government with this completely ultra right wing, and not boycott Israeli products. It gives me a very uneasy feeling. This is what I want to say.
Right, but we're not questioning whether it's right or wrong as an organization to do it. I'm questioning whether the United States as an entity has the right to penalize somebody and call it illegal to do so. And I don't think it's any of our fucking business.
But you know, which business is there which America is not into?
Doesn't mean we should make a law. What's the point of the law? The law, it's if we make the law, it's just as we are a hypocrite. It's a hypocritical law because you're basically enforcing your own bias against somebody who's pushing a bias, and you're saying your bias is wrong, so I'm going to use my bias against your bias.
the question should be not a simple yes or no question. It should be, I think, before this should be a discussion, a deeper going discussion about all this. Not only is dropping a simple question yes or no. This is not enough for me.
No. I don't understand and I mean this, I don't understand the history of or why the United States is such a proud backer of Israel. They look just as ugly and horrific as every other goddamn country in the Middle East to me. And we're the ones who brought it there. It's not like, I'm not saying we stir the pot. So I don't understand what that is. Why we're always Israel, and fuck Palestine. I don't get that. I don't understand that. They're all a bunch of human beings with a bunch of dumb religions killing each other over a shit piece of land, and I don't get that. Fuck them both. I don't understand why we have to defend or not defend anybody. And why does the United States as a nation have to even take a position? Or fine, take a position. The United States denounces anybody who boycotts Israeli products. But the United States saying we're going to enforce punishment on entities for doing so? No, that's out of fucking line. That's not your purview. Not within your constitutional rights. I don't understand that. So that's me. And I know you guys are saying AIPAC is the only reason. AIPAC is the only reason. I don't understand I don't even understand the whole AIPAC thing. Right? I see two nations beating the shit out of each other for stupid reasons, and for whatever alliance reasons. Oil is what I'm guessing. Oil, a petrodollar, oil. We back Israel. Which I think is crap. I think it's just crap. So you guys are talking about Palestinians. Say, what did John Ward say? We helped establish Israel, and the country is a way for us to project power into the region. Oh, okay. I remember something about that. That's interesting. That makes sense. So we helped establish them. So we feel like if we didn't back them, it's kind of like our orphan kid over there. Is that what it is? It's a Christian thing. End times comes on the back of Israel making moves, and we need to be on the right side according to the Bible. Really? Gee, there's all sorts of stuff. Marcus, how does this sound to you? Any of this stuff make sense?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Can you repeat it, please?
I'm just reading what Real Jingy says. It's a Christian thing. End times come on the back of Israel making moves, and we need to be on the right side according to the Bible. I mean, do you understand this? During the centuries,
we have to differentiate between Israel and Judaism, and of course the Jews as a religious group were I don't know the right expression right now. They were put in the role of the bad guy. I would put it like this, and they were. And they had problems all over the countries because they were considered to be the bad people. Some refer that they killed Christ, and this was enough reason for them to hate Jews, etc. And of course, it was misused by politics. We saw this in Germany when the Jews were the reason of everything which went wrong in Germany over the past decades, and yeah.
Wow.
It has its historic roots, and and it is, in my opinion, quite unfair,
Yeah, it's
And we don't have to forget what we see in Israel with the conflict with Palestine is to a certain degree is the inheritance of what happened in Germany, the Holocaust and all this. And of course, all the people who survived all this and went to Israel and built up a new state, they of course said, no, this cannot happen again. And of course, they got somehow militant and maybe paranoid. And this is what we see now.
Well, I'm reading a lot of comments, and listen, you guys, I am an idiot with regard to this because, no, I don't give a fuck. I honestly don't. I don't care about foreign policy. I've been too concerned about what's going on here. But So Melissa H, protesters against Israel are not protesting against Jews. They are protesting the government. I understand there's a difference between the government and I understand there's a separation there, but we're trying to make it play like it's against the Jews, right? That's what it seems like here. Yeah, not Israel, not Jews, except politicians, Zionists, says Jilly Love. Yeah, I get it. It all still comes down to corruption and religion in some aspects, and I don't understand why our government would take a position one way or the other. And to answer your other question, Jilly Love, or no, Melissa H, about I didn't know that about the U.S. helping to create Israel. No, sorry, I probably did at one point when I was studying stupid U.S. history or the 7 Days War or whatever there was back then. But I'm not a big fan of that history, so my bad. Do you care about atrocities, John? Do I care about atrocities? In what sense? Do I want to not make them happen? Sure. Do I care when they happen? Sure. What are we looking for here? I don't know. Well, thank you, Randy. We'll have to learn more about that. We'll have to learn more about all of that. It's not one of the subjects that I talk about. It's all... I don't even know what that is, what you're blocking out there. We need to have general strike for the end of capitalism. Yes, we do. We do.
I agree.
I agree. Okay, moving on. Foreign policy. If anybody who knows about it wants to do a segment on it and talk about it and tell us all and educate me on the whole Israel, Palestine, stupid bullshit, happy to have you come on and teach me all about it. Right? I'd love to learn. Chuck Schumer. We're moving on into the Democratic Party and their latest attempt to sound populist. Chuck Schumer wrote an op-ed, and or maybe just an article here talking about a better deal for Americans, and it's basically an attempt to say we agree now that we've been weak and we need to go for better things, including a $15 minimum wage, and we'll look at, fixing health care. And he listed a bunch of this. Scroll down for me there. He's got a bunch of crap in here. Just a quick opinion from everybody right now. What did you think of Chuck Schumer's letter, and how much do you believe Chuck? I just want to get a spot feeling on that. I don't believe Chuck at all. Melissa H, it would take a long time, John. Very complicated and long. All right. Melissa, how did your anti-Israel propaganda begin? Where did the hatred for Jews start in your life? See, and this is that's it right there. That's the issue right there. Is Eco's calling out this for anti-Israel propaganda, the hatred for Jews? Hey, Eco, I don't like Israel either. Has nothing to do with Jews for me. I don't like Israel because every time I see them, or see talk about them, read articles about them, what I see is a group of people who are killing other people, and that we sell them a lot of fucking weapons. Right? So I'm not a fan of anybody that kills a lot of people and sells a lot of weapons or buys a lot of weapons. I don't know why that would need to be a racial thing, huh?
No.
Why would that need to be a racial thing? Okay. Here's me. Ignorant guy, really doesn't understand what's going on there with race at all. I just see Israel as another fucking piece of shit thug country that wants to beat the shit out of other countries just like the U.S. and has a great relationship with the U.S., gets all of our fucking weapons. And we like having people over there because we've got a spot in the Middle East. You tell me why that has anything to do with Jews. It doesn't. It has to do with assholes being assholes. Period. There's Israel. I don't need anybody telling about foreign policy. No, just kidding. Seriously, I'm sure there's a lot we could all learn from that.
But yes, I think we can agree there. I think assholery has no frontiers. It has no nation. It is all over the world, and it doesn't matter who it is. They are just assholes. Right.
Exactly. Okay, you guys, I love you're coming in with your opinions on Chuck Schumer. We're going to bounce back to that. You wonder if we can trust him. Yeah, I don't go there. Chuck is full of shit. Thank you for that. Loretta Swit on what? Loretta, I don't even know what you're talking about there. Be 180 degrees difference from Trump, who is all messaging and appearance. Schumer is a big Zionist, for fuck's sake. Interesting. So there's a couple things going on here. They've chosen Kamala Harris as Hillary 2.0. She's already done some big fundraisers. There's already dissension being caused. Very interesting. And that's a good one to have up there, keeping the doors open. The whole reason Chuck Schumer put out their message is because they're in debt. They have gotten their asses kicked with fundraising. They're in debt up the ass because of the last 4 special elections where they dumped a shitload of money, $30 million into Ossoff. They lost their ass, right? They've got another election that they just announced in West Virginia. They're going to run a corporate Democrat with this bullshit corporate Democrat message, and they're going to dump a fuck ton of money into it. And what's his name? I can't even think of it. Tom Perez is the one proudly making the announcement. That's an article I've got loaded up for tomorrow. It's basically like, oh, we're all in on West Virginia. You're all in with your fucking corporate message. You're going to lose your ass there too. Because you don't know how to fucking talk to the actual human beings of America. You just sell this hope and change bullshit. And it's sad. What the corporate Dems are trying to do right now is sound populist enough to win over enough Bernie supporters to have a fucking chance in the midterms with their corporate Dems. And what we need to do right now is ignore Chuck and ignore everything they're doing and tell Kamala Harris to go enjoy her Hillary Foundation money, because we'll be running Bernie in 2020. That's what it's going to be. You're going to have Bernie Sanders running against Kamala Harris, running against Donald Trump, or Jeff or Pence, maybe, whoever ends up if we kick Trump out. I would bet you they just keep him in there as the ultimate distraction for as long as they can. I mean, that's what they're going to do. So let's just say it's Trump, which means we basically have the 2016 election again in 2020 with Kamala Harris replacing Hillary Clinton.
And they are only going on visuals, only on the looks, What Kamala Harris, what does she represent? She presents Obama and Hillary Clinton in one person,
Yes, she does.
She's a black woman and her target is to finally break the glass ceiling,
Yes, you're absolutely right. They're like, well, what can we make it better? We'll make her black and a woman. Holy shit. Yeah. And then let's go fundraise right now. Who really cares where she gets her money from? Because that's not what the progressive movement's talking about at all. Let's just go give her a shit ton of money.
Yes. Only the looks and no message which we are interested in. So she will fail.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's sad. It's very sad. And all we need to remember is that it becomes very easy for us to choose who we vote for. And we just don't have to give money to the DNC. We can give money directly to our candidates. I mean, even if you want to go to a town hall, write a check, hand it to the person, right? We can do that. They'd probably appreciate that. Right? We know how to fund our candidates now. So we can ignore Chuck. I think his message is bullshit. I think even if Chuck and the establishment Dems actually cared, which I don't think they do, they're not going to move this agenda forward. They're going to do exactly what we saw with the Obama administration. Hope change, hope change, hope change, shoot some hoops. And when we get in there, let's escalate everything. Let's bomb more countries. All right? Excuse me. And then you've got Bernie Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard's a little bit of a war hawk, too. Scott Glenn has always said that. So I'd be a little worried about Tulsi. But I would definitely take her over Kamala Harris at this point. Kamala Harris is Wall Street. Wall Street in a different wrapper. So we're going to have that to fight. But that is what Chuck is. That's where they're headed. They need to give Kamala a populist-looking platform. Say that fast. Populist-looking platform. She needs that. in order to win against Bernie Sanders. And we know that she won't do any of those things once in office, because she's already taken money from Wall Street to make sure she won't do any of those fucking things once she's in office. We'll give you the money to win. Go ahead and lie your ass off, because we know once you get in there, you're not going to do those things. And we need to call her out on that all the time. So, Bernie's coming. Bernie's coming. And that's the next thing. Thank you. He's got it ready to go, because Sanders is keeping the door open for 2020. Now, there's actually a staff member that's like, yeah, it's going down. So you know it's going to happen. You know Bernie's going to be like, ah. And here's the thing. Kamala Harris is at least a sane Democrat in the sense that she will vote for more populist agendas. Okay? She's at least on that side of the globe. But she will always put her donors first. So we got to remember that. Bernie also will always put his donors first.
Yes, but they are different.
They are very different donors.
and I don't want to. I wouldn't want to hang too high the announcement or not announcement if he runs or if he does not run in 2020. Just imagine what would happen if he today says he won't run 2020. It would be terrible. So he of course knows that he has to leave it open if he would run or not. If he ran in the end, we will see. That will the time tell. And it is. I think it is. It is self-explaining and no real news. You know.
Yeah, maybe, but I think even if it is a tactic to keep us going and bring us hope, I'm glad he did it.
No. It is, of course, it is a tactic, but it is not a negative tactic. Even if he doesn't run in 2020, he is operating in the field. He's preparing the field.
Right.
He empowers the people to follow his lead. You know, and of course he knows this.
Yeah, and you're right. That's also the danger, though, because he will empower the field and he will be spreading his message. And if Kamala Harris is also mimicking that message, then the DNC may say, look, it's going to be really easy, Bernie, for you to take your group and just dump it on over to the Kamala wagon, right?
Yeah, didn't Alexandria Ocasio talked about a similar thing happening in New York when people were thinking they voted for progressive Democrats, and it turned out later, after they got elected, that they completely are on the side of the Republicans and only follow their leads, you know? It is a very tricky situation, and we got to be very aware what's going on.
Yes, no, absolutely, I agree. And Springfield, just to be quick, you said Tulsi is a war hawk. I'm basing that on Scott Galinda's knowledge of her voting record and her stand on things. So I trust Scott on that, and I hope we can have him on the show. Or again, we'll be doing the thing on Saturday. Maybe I can get him to come in and talk and tell us why he thinks that. He's been warning us about her for a while, just saying, just be careful. She's a little bit more on the side of war things. She doesn't want. She obviously is about ending regime change wars, right? She wants to stop that, but she believes in a strong military. She's from the military, right? So I'm not worried about it too much. She's also sane. She also understands what we need to do to take care of vets. I mean, I think it might be good in that sense. There's a lot of work we need to do there. Right. There's a lot of work we need to do. She understands that. She understands that we need mental health going on. We need all sorts of care going on. So I'm just pointing out it's something we need to, when Scott says, we always gotta listen to Scott, right? How many times did Scott tell us that doesn't matter? That doesn't matter. And he was right. None of it actually fucking mattered. Right. So anyway, where are we at? All right. I was telling you we're going to have Jeff Erdman. We're into ground game, everybody. And I just want to run his ad. This is a pretty good ad. This is Jeff Erdman. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Every day, in big cities and small towns, all across this country, all across Minnesota, people get up early, they work late, and they do it. They sacrifice because they know They are part of something bigger than themselves. Growing up in Lewiston, Minnesota, I saw my own parents do this. My dad worked in a flour mill and took every extra shift he could to give us a chance at a better life. My mom managed her own daycare and did the same. And their sacrifices are the reason I'm here today. But after seeing the behavior of our politicians, I began to wonder if teachers, police officers, nurses, farmers, and business owners do this every day, why does it have to stop at the doors of Congress? Why can't we have representatives willing to put in the same sacrifice to get things done for us that we do every day? The reality is, I don't think they know what real people are going through. So much of Congress is filled with millionaires and billionaires. I'm proud to say I've been a high school teacher and football coach for 27 years. My wife Ruth and I are raising our 3 children, and we sacrifice to make our family work. It isn't always easy, but we do it. We find a way. The more I see from Congress, the more I wonder, what if Congress was run by people like Ruth and I? People who know what it's like to work hard to make ends meet and sacrifice for others. Would it be any different? What if we took on the big money in politics that's drowning out regular folks' voices? Would we be able to help places and people that get left behind? And what if healthcare, a quality education, including college, and respectful retirement were part of what it meant to be an American? And the more I wondered, I said, what if the congressperson was someone like me? What if together we made this country the place we believe it can be? I'm Jeff Erdman, and I'm running for Congress because I believe we can. And I hope you'll join me.
That's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah. What'd you think? Would you vote for him, Marcus?
I will see what he has to say in the show, and then of course I cannot vote for him, but then I will make my decision about him and what he stands for.
You know what? I just want to point out to everybody that if we took over our government all the way, like we're working on, we could pass a law allowing Germans to vote. Just say it.
Yeah,
and then Marcus could vote
cool.
for. It's like, because we trust them, we're going to let Germans vote just to back up dumb decisions Americans might make. No.
Our decisions are not always that great, John.
Well.
In Germany. Come on.
I know. It took a couple pummelings to get there. Just a couple things about Jeff. I'm excited to have him come on. He seems, just from a on-camera production point of view, in terms of selling a message, which is what he has to do, right? He has to sell a message to a bunch of conservative people in Minnesota, in the 2nd District, that already it's going to be tough, right? So I just want to say he's got coach and to have your own children, but that's insane. When I was raising Chase and Alex in the early 2000s, I knew a friend that was a high school teacher, had coached football and had kids, and they had no time, right? And I'm not saying he's not going to have time to do what he does. I'm just saying the fact that the man, quite the opposite, the fact that he has time to make a commercial and run for Congress and still be a high school teacher and do all this, that's amazing. You want to know somebody that's going to have enough energy to do things? That's what it takes, because it takes being superhuman to coach high school football and be a teacher. So anyway, big respect for him, big props. Looking forward to having him on, seeing what he has to say. He picked a song. Took us a while to get a song out of Jeff, but it's Tom Petty, I'll tell you that. And that's a good choice. I like Tom Petty a lot. A lot. He's a sarcastic son of a bitch, and I really like his music, and the older I get, the more I like Tom Petty. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. So moving on. How you doing over there, Steve?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are doing great. You
This
did a
is
fantastic.
awesome.
You did a great job with the video. We're coming up on this next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think so, Marcus?
Yeah. Steve is an absolute good addition. Great.
He is.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yes. What are you talking about there, Lynn? I am powerful words. We talking about the commercial? Welcome to a real chat room, Dr. Cat, Wesley Scott. Hey, Wesley. By the way, I want to thank all of you for getting through the Israel conversation and my ignorance thereof without exploding into some kind of an argument. I appreciate that. Thank you all for still being here, right? That's really important. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Yes, Springfield. And we will be... I'm going to promo this right now. The 21st is the Eclipse Day here. We're going to do a streamathon. Marcus, you've been working on a badass music box. A lot of people working on that, getting songs ready, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we've added a couple new ones. Marcus just added one of the most important ones.
Oh.
You want to tell everybody about it, Marcus?
No, I won't.
So we've added Scorpions Blackout because the best band ever, and what was the one I was just gonna and a Soundgarden song. All right, we got some good stuff. It's gonna be a good list. If you have any suggestions, drop them to us go to Twitter at Bernie2016 TV and send us a note. We'll pick a hashtag for this soon. But join us for the streamathon on the 21st. Laura LiveU will be in studio. Steve Collins will be in studio. Hopefully we'll have Marcus with us for some of that time. Dennis with us for some point at time. And Laura LiveU bought this really cool... I don't even know what the fuck it is. It's an attachment for your camera. So she'll go outside and we'll bring her camera feed in so we can see the eclipse through the camera lens feed and not have to, our eyes, and we'll run it through filters so everybody can look. But we'll have live eclipse footage. We will have songs with fun stories and have a fun time. We'll run some inspirational Bernie stuff and join us for that and have a party. We'll smoke up some big joints all here in the room and get everybody giggly. Have a fun time with that. Sound good, Marcus?
Sounds perfect to me. Apart from that I will have to be in Germany, but I think me and I think Dennis would like to join us.
Of course.
To join you too, and
of course.
I think we would be around at that time as we know it, and and then later I guess we have to leave, unfortunately.
Yes, I know. But we'll go out with a Scorpion song so that you will leave with your heart filled with joy.
Can you please arrange it like this, that the Scorpion song would be one of the last songs?
After you've gone? We'll see.
Long after I've gone.
All right. Where are we at? Hang on, I got to look at the card again. New setup. I got card over here. He's got this video ready. We got a Bernie video ready, but I got to look at it, what we're talking about here. Jeff said... Forget discussion, shoot it out. Where did I miss that? Did I miss that somewhere in here?
Schumer?
No. What's the Hill one? Like that one. What's this one? Oh, yeah, we skipped this one. This is ridiculous. If you didn't know, the Just GOP what are you doing there? Click out of there so we don't have this on the screen. There we go. Thank you. This GOP law, this first day, everybody, you're doing wonderful. GOP lawmakers suggest duel with female senators. That's, I don't know if you heard about this. The guy, some asshole, the three ladies, one of them being Murkowski, actually. Go pause that. The three ladies that voted against the health care bill last time, which is up for review again, but nobody knows what's in it. None of the Republicans actually know what's in it except for Mitch McConnell. Anyway, they're the ones that voted it down the last time. Thank you, ladies, for finding some kind of moral compass. Although, how can you be a Republican? I just got to ask you right there. How? You're women. How can you even be? It's like the hypocrisy right there. Anyway, they voted against it. This asshole is like, well, if this were the South, I'd suggest we solve this Aaron Burr style, which means he wants to go to a duel and shoot them for their choice. And honestly, this is the first place I'll call hypocrisy. I'm a hypocrite Because my thought was, man, I would love to do that with you in place of those ladies and kill you. Dumbass. Total hypocrisy. That was just like my first anger was like, how can you possibly make that statement? But my initial guttural reaction was, let's go. So I'm trying to figure out why that was in my head. It's like, and it's back. If you saw a black screen for a moment, we just lost the internet and came back. Comcast heard something I said and didn't like it. Apologies. Now go on to the next story. When did you guys, isn't that weird? We're devolving. Yeah, you're getting buffer. You're devolving when you have representatives within your government who are eager to get back to a Middle Ages style of resolving issues. And you're angry when your guttural reaction is, sounds good to me. And everybody needs to just calm down and remember civilization. Somewhere in there, the civil part has got to stand. Especially with me. The more angry we get, the more oppressed we get, the more we will want to act like animals because that will be the choice we have. And we just got to be always cognizant of that desire to be violent. I struggle with it all the time, and you guys know that. That's one of the reasons we do the goddamn show. There's your goddamn Dennis. I don't know if you're around. Get that goddamn in there for the Dennis. This is Bernie Sanders. This is some brilliant spin work. Listen to how this bobblehead talks to Bernie about saying that people will die if the Republican health care plan goes on. She doesn't even talk about the reality of the health care plan, the fact that that would happen. She just, how could you say something like that? And isn't that so divisive? Listen to Bernie's. This is how you stay on point and stop somebody from derailing you, coming back around, punching in the kidney with some bullshit, which is what this woman tried to do.
You're going to sit down with people on both sides of the aisle. Some Democrats have branded Republicans the party of death, for example, calling the tax cuts in the Senate health care bill blood money. You yourself have said Republicans are potentially killing Americans. Is that rhetoric irresponsible, and does it provide an impasse to compromise? If you're going to sit down with those very people that you've now said want to kill people.
No, I never said, that's not, you're using rhetoric that I didn't use.
Oh, am
okay?
I? These are quotes. Party of death is a quote.
This is what I said. What I said, and it's not me. This is a dozen or more studies that show that if you throw 22 million people off the insurance they have, these are people who have cancer. These are people who have heart disease, diabetes, other life-threatening illnesses. What study after study shows is that thousands of those people will die. That's what Harvard says. That's what study after study shows. It's not me. I'm just telling you what major studies are showing.
In fairness, if you have Republicans that are proposing alternatives, Republicans who also come from a good place and believe the free market is the solution to those things, who don't want people to die, who don't want people to suffer, if you don't acknowledge that those people exist as well on both sides of the aisle, how can you get to the table and compromise?
I have said publicly, nobody here in the Congress wants anybody to die. I understand that. But that is the result of throwing 22 million people off of health insurance. Right. So let us sit down, Republican, Democrat, Independent, and figure out how we go forward, how we improve the Affordable Care Act. I am absolutely open to doing that.
Do you see what she tried to do there?
Yeah.
Batman needs to come through and just, right? Compromise. Is there a compromise with throwing 22 million people off health care? What compromise? This is the issue that I want. The bigger issue here is the word compromise. And my dad was telling me, this just really bothered me, and I tried not to like get all mad, and because my dad's getting to a point where I got to be careful with him, right? And he was talking about some guy he went and saw, some speaker, local speaker. And the local speaker's message was that we have really extreme right politicians, right people, and we have really extreme left people, and it's these extremes, but we can find a compromise in the middle. And I'm like, fuck no. No, it's the fact that the left has compromised itself all the way over to the fucking right end of this pendulum and beyond. Okay? And you want to find a compromise somewhere over there in the right? That's fucking bullshit. There is no compromise there. Don't tell me to fucking compromise with death. Well, how about only 11 million people are thrown off healthcare? How about maybe only 5 million people? And when she says, well, there are Republicans over there that don't want people to die. Of course, they're all going to say that. Here's how they phrase that. Paul Ryan literally said, if 14 million people choose not to accept the healthcare plans we offer, that's their choice. If 14 million people can't afford to, or they look at the health plan and go, it doesn't even fucking cover my pre-existing condition, why would I pay for health care? Kind of like, why would I go get a job so I could reimburse the federal government? This is the issue we face here. There's no goddamn compromise with the GOP anymore. And any corporate Dem that thinks there is a corporate Dem and needs to be removed from office. Then there's compromise with, we want fucking healthcare for everybody. Not half of you, not only people that can afford it, not just white folk. That's where this argument goes. It's like, and Bernie's trying to be as nice about it as he can, but I just want somebody to look at these fuckers and go, we're done compromising, bitch. We're done. We're done. We done compromised ourselves into the shithole of a nation we have right now. We done compromised ourselves into buying more F-35s. We done compromised ourselves into becoming a nation that is laughed at, ridiculed. We're done. I'm done compromising. When somebody says we need to do that, we'll reach across the aisle. Yeah, I'll reach across the aisle with this. Fuck you. Anyway, yeah. Markus, thoughts, feelings?
Yes, absolutely. because I think it is quite funny if you see that both major parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, moved so far to the right side. In what middle should they meet? God damn it.
Right. What is the middle?
The middle would still be on the right side completely.
Yeah.
If there was an article. I think it was online yesterday. I read it, and the author said it was the Progressive Army. I remember, and the author said compared both political parties in America, or the Democrats mostly, with the Democratic Party, the Center Conservative Party in Europe and Germany and the UK, and they said the Democrats are even more hardcore on their point of view than the Conservatives and the Tories. And if you know what's going on in England, this is completely unimaginable. And what Germany concerns, the Democratic Party of America would be here in Germany an absolutely right-wing party.
Wow.
And I don't think in some positions they would be even votable here in Germany, because we don't like what your so-called Democrats stand for, what the DNC stands for,
right?
And those values.
They don't stand for. There's no standing there. But you're absolutely right. What did you say here? Obama did not compromise. He started on the right, and I agree. I agree. We thought what he was offering looked very liberal, but he was offering a lot of talk and not a lot of action. And when he got into office, he did some things that were democratic, but behind the scenes, he fracked the fucking earth. He cranked up oil production higher than it's ever been. He made us #1 in oil again, and he dropped a whole lot of fucking bombs on a lot of fucking things. So I don't, anybody who continues to praise Obama you're not fully awake. You're not fully awake. You need to be woke as fuck. And then you'll really be as irritated as we are. And I voted for Obama. I voted for all that hope and change. I got suckered. My mom voted for that. My mom was out canvassing for that fucker. That's just, John McCain is on the way. That is the ultimate hypocrisy right there. Senator John McCain.
Yes.
Motherfucker's going to go vote to take away your health care. you're paying for his brain surgery.
Yeah.
You're paying for them to deal with his brain cancer. As a human being, I'm so glad you're getting that brain cancer taken care of, John. As a rep, I wish they'd leave it in. Asshole. I wish we, the people, had the right to say, no, let's deny that rep health care because he's a dick. And the sad thing is McCain is one of the more sane human beings in the GOP. That's frightening. It's just frightening. This is really funny. I don't know, how did that happen? We've got one news article's video on another page. But that works, though. This will save us time because we're running late. This is actually two articles in one, and I don't know how this happened, everybody. The video that you see there is a whale, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. The article that you see is Colorado fracking flight, emails show constituents begging lawmakers for help. What I want to tell you about that is that the video that's supposed to run with this, which is the previous video in the IB Times post, is a rather interesting fracking video that is kind of pro-fracking coming out of IB Times. And click on the links. Remember, all the links are in the description. I'm not going to run the video right now. We don't have the time. You'll be pretty pissed. I think you'll run and be like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? There's some misinformation in there. And they try to basically pass off the earthquakes from fracking. But here's how they excuse everything that goes on with fracking. The EPA says they can't find any proof now that the fracking water is going to be bad. So trust the EPA because, should trust them now. Most of the people have quit. Scott Pruitt's in charge, and he's dismantling it as fast as possible. So when we get a statement from the EPA, definitely take that on high. And then they say that the reason most fracking operations are bad is because they're not maintained. So if we had better maintenance and regulation, we wouldn't have so many leaks. Right? The industry estimates that the leaking methane is 2% of overall mass. And they say that if it reaches 3.1% of overall mass, that's bad, and cuts out the savings in emissions that frack gas supposedly has. It's a very pro-fracking video on IB Times. I'm very disappointed about it. Their article is supposed to be about how people have been begging their reps to vote, to pick up fracking regulations, to stop fracking, to ban fracking. People in Colorado are like, we're tired of this shit. We know it's toxic. We know what it's doing to our air. But at the same time, IB Times is running a video that makes it sound like fracking is A-okay. And yeah, we understand that it's doing some bad things methane-wise, but all we need to do is put on some better regulations. And people love their cheap frack gas. It's basically a fucking commercial for fracking, which provides a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of misinformation, and a whole lot of, but it's cheap. And with better regulation, we could make it safer for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the fucking narrative out of IB Times. It's so goddamn irritating. And I know you've got it pulled up right there. So that's the one article. Is the whale article still up there? No, it'll be the next one over. This is IB. Oh. No, this. All right, so maybe it's down a ways. The whale one's in there somewhere.
Oh, I know.
Is it down there?
Oh.
Anyway. All right. That's the okay. So there was two articles. There was two. Okay, go back to the other one then. Not good. The whale one is really weird. And Eco and Jilly Love in particular, I want your opinions on this when we get to the whale story because it's weird. I don't know how I feel about that. What are you guys saying? No one wants to see the water used in fracking. Why? Right. That's a good question. Parliamentary side dealings with Trump, Prime Minister of Lebanon. Trump and Prime Minister of Lebanon have a news conference at 3. That ought to go bad. Did you? We're not gonna talk about it much, but I guess he said some great things to the Boy Scout National Jamboree. Why would you book him? The big point about that is the Boy Scout rules say that you're not allowed to be involved with anything political, and all those Scoutmasters stood on stage and basically Kyled while Trump was talking his politics, and that he talked politics to a bunch of kids at a fucking Boy Scout Jamboree. Trying to recruit his Hitler Youth. He got him to boo Obama. He's working on it, Marcus. He's working on it.
Boy Scout rule number 12 is he's giving advices about to deal with girls, you know.
God.
Poor
Yes.
Boy Scouts.
Did we move on? Yeah, we're already on to this. You guys have probably seen this story. It's really tragic. In Texas, Walmart parking lot, 9 people found dead inside a sweltering trailer in a horrific immigrant smuggling case. This is another one of those hypocrite moments where the truck driver is alive. And it's sad that 9 people died inside the truck, and I'd like to see the truck driver die. That was my initial guttural reaction. Street justice. And my question is how the hell can you be a human being and do that? How do you put people in the back of your truck and just let them die? Leave them there. What kind of a person does that? What kind of a person goes on live internet broadcasting and points out a story like this and then immediately says, I'm a hypocrite, I wish the truck driver was dead? What kind of a person says shit like that? I'm disgusted by my own want for violence. I'm disgusted by human apathy. How do you leave people to die in a trailer? How do you traffic human beings and be okay with it? How do you let 22 million people lose insurance and potentially die and be okay with that? Wake up the next day and be able to do a news conference. We're pretty sick people. I don't know what that is. That's an illness of greed, an illness of selfishness, an illness of violence. And then I call it on myself. Marcus?
We know this from Europe also. And last year, during the refugee crisis, there were, I think, 2 or 3 trucks with the same story. People in the truck and no air to breathe, and they all died.
Seriously? Wow.
Yes, yes.
That's horrific. I mean, I'm sure it happens more than we're aware of, but that's just a terrible story. And you guys have been dealing with a lot more refugees for a lot longer than we have. That's just, the human trafficking just blows me away. I have such a hard time balancing that out when no justice seems adequate. It's just I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. Civil asset forfeiture, whole other thing. I can't even talk about that, but that's moving through. Cops are going to be allowed to just take what they want from anybody. That's going to open right on up. Hey, it's a growing trend in America. We're not going to run this story, but in the links, there's a video, a TYT video of homelessness in Los Angeles. And what's interesting is that the tow truck services are refusing to tow away people's motorhomes or trailers or whatever they're living in. We have such a huge problem in this country, a massive debt problem. We have homelessness that is just rampant, and it's starting to show itself. It's starting to show its ugliness, where the Starbucks drinking, suburban driving soccer parents can't avoid it. There's a beggar on every corner. There's tent cities popping up. There's motorhomes everywhere. There's people who are starving on the streets. Children. We have millions of children in this country starving on the streets. And we have a government that's okay with taking away insurance from even more people and letting them die and starve on the streets. This country is becoming exactly the kind of country that it claimed it was going to go save with democracy. It just forgot to save itself because it stopped practicing democracy. We stopped practicing democracy. And the only thing we can do right now is to get back to practicing democracy. You know, we can't take back power. We can't change the rules without starting at the lowest level and taking that power. And it's very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Acidification of the ocean, negative feedback loop. Is that environmental doomsday number 12 out of 27, Nico? Because is there a list? Is there a comprehensive list? Because that would be fantastic. Of all of the catastrophic event potentials or possibilities or things that are occurring right now, because that would be fantastic. I don't think that's the one thing I don't think everybody can grasp is just how much bad is going down environmentally at one time. Listen, it's a positive show. We're going to end on a good note. We are changing things. When you look at what's going on, we'll just go to this right now because that's a Satan. You can leave it on there because that's kind of weird. I just want people to see his face. We're heading into the dark ages with what?
I know this thingy.
This guy is ridiculous. This is Christianity. We're talking Christianity. The end tune today is just perfect for that, but it's really long. Where are we at? 11:57. We're almost out of there. We are winning. We, meaning the progressive movement, is winning. Chuck Schumer and the corporate Dems have just released their attempt at a populist message, a populist platform to desperately try to woo over all the supporters. And it's not just the Bernie faction. It's independents. It's people who maybe voted for Hillary but woke up or something. I don't know. It's a lot of people who aren't giving money to the DNC. It's a lot of people who have been supporting progressives. And if the DNC wants to survive as a party past 2020, which is in question at this point, they have to actually do shit for real. So we have two things happening here. This isn't going to be a clean progressives win, Dems lose, and Republicans lose in midterms and election. We're going to see people from all three factions show up as winners. And it'll be our job to make sure the progressives we've elected are doing their thing, and that the Dems that slipped by us this time, the corporate Dems, we continue to put pressure on them. We continue to show up at town halls. We continue to yell at them. We continue to let them know that they're gone next time. Because if we don't get rid of Chuck this time, we'll get rid of Chuck next time. And same with Nancy, and same with Diane, and all those fuckers. And if for some lucky reason, they actually start voting the way we want them to vote, and I'm not suggesting it's going to happen at all. But let's just say all of a sudden Dianne Feinstein puts in a vote for a $15 minimum wage and puts in a vote for single-payer health care because she realizes that she's got two choices. Do what we fucking say or retire. Then look who just brought the dog to heel. That's practicing democracy. When the people rise up and say, either do what we say or get the fuck out, and we get our rep to bow down, say, okay, then we know we will have won. Do I see that happening with Chuck, Diane, and Nancy? Fuck no. So we have to keep the pressure on. We have to defeat them. We have to elect David Hildebrand. We have to elect Stephen Jaffe, right? I don't even know who's running against Schumer. Who's running against Schumer? Anybody?
Good question.
Anybody? And we wait to see what Bernie does. Bernie's talking about running in 2020. If they've got Kamala Harris, he's not running on a DNC ticket.
No.
I don't think. Maybe in the primaries. Do you think he would try the same thing again? I don't think he would try the same thing again, knowing last time. All right. So he hasn't announced how he's going to run. Maybe he runs as an independent.
And I think his final decision will be in 2018 after the midterms.
Maybe so. Oh, you guys are looking at McCain? He's about ready to come on and is he talking? They'll get into the room. They have to have 50 and Pence will be a tiebreaker. Oh, Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Really, really quick. Just look at this guy's face. There's a link. This is supposedly a Christian preacher who figured out how to use Facebook. And this video is really talking about how Christianity has found a way to inspire itself to violence. I want to say again, but it's not like it ever turned violence down. It's always just used violence as a means to an end and figured out a way to justify it, right? Violence against an abortion clinic, still violence. Okay? So anyway, Christians whatever that fucking means today, are really excited because they now have a reason to be more violent, and they're gearing up for that violence, and that's always exciting. It's always religion again.
Are they Christians? There are no Christians, John.
Well, they wear the symbols of the religion.
Yeah, but there are no Christians.
Well, maybe not. I wouldn't be a Christian either. Really.
Not in their club. No, not at all.
What a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
Really. Oh, man, we don't have time. There's a wonderful little clip in there of the Gal Gadot. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm going to kill it. Gadot. Shows why she's the Wonder Woman, which is just killing in the box office because it's a female hero, and we're focused on female heroes, and I really like that. We need more female heroes, right? Get away from penis first hero shit. Watch the video. It's really cute. It's a little girl who walks up to her in her Wonder Woman outfit, and the exchange is just wonderful, and it gives you a little glimpse of humanity still existing as we tumble towards our doom. Anyway, there's an article from Democracy Now! That you guys can look at that talks about that we've got documents now showing that we backed the 1953 coup in Iran over oil contracts. We knew this a long time ago with Oliver Stone's Untold History of the United States. But if you want to know how long it's been since we've been meddling for oil, at least 1953. Right? A democratically elected guy, and we helped the coup occur because oil was at stake. We put the Shah in power. And then I know that history from the 80s when they got rid of the Shah. Anyway, next. There's an article in there about bottles. It's just informative about plastic bottles. Please don't use plastic bottles. Who's using plastic bottles still? Unless you're in a place, and this is what I thought of, if you're in a place like Flint where you got no choice, see what the government's doing here? Poison our natural water table. Force us to drink Nestle. That's what's happening in the United States of America. Our water table is being poisoned. Our right to water is being taken away. Nestle's still allowed to suck up whatever goddamn water they want. It's quite interesting. Next. This is the dead, look at this. This is the dead, the sperm whale. This is weird. So what you're looking at here, they're talking about how sad it is. They're talking about the people that think this is a real well. All right. This isn't a real well. The whale is fake. And this is a stunt. They had scientists come in and they tried to take samples and made it look like this whale. I mean, that's a pretty good model. And they're using this to get them. I get what they're doing. They're like, this climate change and this whale came in up the river and I think it's a good idea. My only question is, can you recycle the whale? That looks like what? A ton of styrofoam? Rubber mold? I would guarantee you that whale is made of oil. I'm just going to go there. A good idea. Not sure it was worth it by using a giant mass of oil-based whale. I don't know. Just sort of curious. I hope they used hemp or some other material to make that, but it's pretty real looking. Apparently, there's a potential cure for cancer that the FDA wants to approve, which is unheard of, that they want to actually approve it. And I think this would be great. We're not going to run this clip either. And the only reason I wanted to mention it was because wouldn't it be nice if Americans could afford to have it? Because there will be very few people who will actually be able to afford this new treatment. Very few people that will have the health care that will allow it. Those of you that have cancer, it's a pre-existing condition. You won't get this treatment. But it's cool that we have it. You guys might get it over there, Marcus. Wouldn't that be cool if you got that?
Well, we will see. We have very strict laws where this concerns, and well, we will see. I think the USA, it is much more easier to start these things in the USA or in China maybe, but in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. It would be. I think it's cool. Start over there. Much more progressive over there with your health. Well, we're running really late. Really late. There's a sports car made of hemp. Not going to look at that either. Move on. Oh, that's the sports car twice. We're at the end song. Okay. Marcus, this was like a railroad show, getting through a bunch of stuff, talking about the future of the station. Anything you'd like to cover that we didn't go over today?
There's only one story coming in my mind from a little girl, who sold self-pressed orange lemonade or orange juice, and suddenly 4 officers rushed on her, and she got fined with $180, and it seems to turn out to be a big scandal, and those police officers had to apologize to the 4-year-old girl, and I think this is another story which is absolutely crazy.
I saw that. There's some stupid law like that here. In some places, you can't. It's illegal to sell lemonade on the street or something. This is bullshit.
A 4-year-old girl, come on.
Capitalism. It's bullshit.
Fuck it.
Good. I'm glad it became a big issue and they had to apologize.
Yeah.
It's just BS. Oh, you guys, thank you for being here today. Pence is an ass. Yes, Melissa, I agree with that. There's a lot of stuff going on. What, Marcus?
Yeah, nice closing word. Pence is an ass.
And with that, we'll say goodbye. Thank you all, and have a good... Mike Pence is an ass. Steve, you did a brilliant job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Steve.
You're not going to start there. You can't be playing. It's playing. Back it up. Go to the beginning.
Ah, here we go.
The end song is special today. It's long, too, so we're really going to be late. It's like 7.5 minutes long. But it is one of the most ultimate metal songs ever. Okay, it's Victim of Changes, Judas Priest. And this song is actually 2 songs stuck together. One written by the original lead singer for the band, the other written by Rob Halford. Okay. Neither one of the songs have anything to do with what I thought the song had to do with when I first heard it as a teenager. And had I known, I would have been bummed out because I decided to make the song about what I wanted it to be, which was a victim of changes in my mind, going through what I was going through at the time, realizing what I was realizing in my life about the Catholic Church, about my parents, about the world, about my choices that I was making as an alcoholic teenager, basically. And what's interesting is today, I know that the song is actually about the issues that I've been dealing with that has to do with alcoholism or a woman. One song from Rob Halford more about a prostitute, and the other guy's more about a woman that's drinking, right? You have to live enough life to be able to get to the point where you're like, I get that stuff. At 18, I hadn't lived enough life. I was just starting to destroy my liver. This is one of Steve Collins' favorite songs, too. Right, Steve?
Excellent song.
Yeah. And for me, the angel on the cover, if you know the cover of the album, Sad Wings of Destiny, that was like the ultimate fuck you to the Catholic Church for me as a teenager. Like I was all ready to just go from the good side to the dark side. And I was well on my way with drug use and alcohol. And I wanted nothing to do with the church or its lies or its hypocrisy or its angels or its Jesus, because the other side looked awesome and was so much more appealing, if for no other reason that it was brutally honest. Today, I know that the song has nothing to do with my battle between religious beliefs and stuff, but I still think of it that way. I still think of it as reminding me that I think we have a choice. today. I can be as sad as I want to be about the IRS, and I know I'm going to have to deal with that and figure out what happens, but I can be a victim of changes, or I can respond to those changes. And I think for us, the lesson we've learned about democracy is that we've been the victim for decades, but we can actually change that. And it may be uncomfortable, and it may seem like we're going against the grain or going against the good, but that's only because we've been told what the good was for so long. So I'm done being a victim of changes. I'm ready to make change. I will see you all tomorrow. Markus, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Always, always. Steve, thank you for doing a great job on AV today.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Here,
That's fun.
Steve Cam, one more time. Everybody, Steve.
Stevie Cam, yeah.
Here, let's see what that looks like this. That's not so bad. We got 3 of us. Hey, everybody. There it is.
Yeah, here we go.
Thank you all for going out of here. Victim of Changes. This is a long song, so sit back, enjoy. But it's definitely one of those where you want to crank this. You want to crank this. Here we go. Victim of Changes.
she was wonderful. Once she was fine. Once she was beautiful. Once she was mine. Changes come over her body. She doesn't see me anymore. Now changes come over her body. She doesn't see me anymore. Change.